toughest thing for distance runners. So I did it myself.
And they'll let you see who the competitors are, 4 at a time. Tennessee with a couple of good ones in here, in Harrison and Costello. And that 5,000 yesterday, Larry, went off very, very slowly. They were like running in place.
And they're doing more of that today. Not quite as slow, but this is a slow start. This is going to be tactical. It's going to play into the hands of 4 or 5 kickers.
I worry about things bunching up and people tripping over each other, which we've seen plenty of in the other events.
First lap, 9:39.6. So we're looking at about a 5:22 mile pace. These ladies, that's slow for this event.
And unfortunately, the crashes that we have seen are in the speed events, 200 and 400 by and large. But still, it hurts. And people get spiked and Achilles tendons and knees and everything else. So I'd like to see it when they string it out a little bit more.
Well, let's see what happens. This is going to be interesting. Megan Goethals, just a freshman at the University of Washington, has taken the lead, and she is probably going to step the pace up.
Let's get down to Lewis, who has a report for us. Lewis?
She's standing by with Ben Lanana, head coach for the University of Oregon. And Ben, we were talking about Jordan Hasse, and she was in tears last night, not doing well in the distance medley race. Well, she ran well, but they didn't win. Then she comes back and wins in the mile. What about her right now? Any concerns about her, how she's doing? Proud of the way she bounced back?
Well, she's a fantastic competitor. Her reason that she was upset is very simply she didn't win. And that's why she's so good. There's nothing, no second place thing is good for her. And I think that, we had no question she'd be in good shape going into the mile. She expresses her emotions a little differently than some people do. The fact that whatever tears she had are all very simple emotion, and that is that she's a big-time competitor.
Yeah, she's only a sophomore, Ben, talking about Jordan Hasse, and this is a lot of running on her young body. So how is she holding up through this championship?
She's doing a great job. I mean, she is such a good competitor. She's so fit. We're trying to get her ready for some big things as we head into the World Championship trials this year and the Olympic trials the year after. So we're just kind of moving her along pretty quickly, because eventually she'll be a 5,000 meter runner.
And then one final question on the team picture. You lost a big score to 3,000, 5,000, but you guys are still hanging in there. How were you able to rebound, regroup? What was really the message to the team when you lose potentially 20 points?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with the character of the team. It has to do with the character of our staff. I mean, Robert Johnson has done a fantastic job at leading the charges, and we just said today, hey, you're almost at the finish line. Finish it up. Let's see what happens.
Ben Lanana hanging out here on the big turn, keeping a close eye on his young star, Jordan Hasse, still in this race.
All right, thanks, Lewis. And Jordan is around 6th place right now, comfortable, up close to the rail. Pascal Churiat of Florida State is leading over Ashley Higginson of Princeton. And they're still going up pretty darn slowly. Megan Goethals has dropped back to 3rd. Lucy Van Dalen in 4th. Hasse now has moved up to 5th place. And they're strung out nicely and not as much of a temptation for problems.
Right, first 1,000 meters, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. So as you say, the pace has certainly been comfortable for them. There's been no stress out there so far. Reed in 3rd place, and Van Dalen directly behind her, the New Zealander who goes to Stony Brook University, a junior, and ran so well at the NCAA championships, won her region as well. 4:32, 1,500 meter runner coming from New Zealand with her sister Holly was Lucy Van Dalen. In the all red out there, running very comfortably. This is going to be a real hot last 800 meters of this race.
This race not so much unlike yesterday's 5,000 meters. Jackie Harrison, who eventually won that race, did take up the pacing duties for quite a long time in that 5,000. She's now comfortably back at about 8th. Her teammate Liz Costello about 4th from the end at this point. We're still early. And you've got to think if Jordan Hasse scores any kind of decent points in this 3,000, it's pretty much over for Oregon.
True.
An 18-point lead coming into this 3,000 meters. Pascal Churiat of Florida State continuing to lead over Ashley Higginson of Princeton, the senior. Hasse in there against the rail in fourth. Sheila Reed has moved in. She was the one that ran Hasse down on that 1600-meter leg of the distance medley relay on day one. Lucy Van Dalen running a little extra distance around this track on each one of these laps to stay out of trouble.
5:04 through 1600 meters of the race, so it's about a 5:06 mile time. Van Dalen coming in has the fastest time of any of the women, 8 minutes and 56.78 of a second. Sheila Reed right there, just under 8:57 for 3,000 meters. So they're nowhere near stretched out here. Let's see who decides to make a serious break and start to move.
This pace is keeping everyone in this race.
This could come down to Hasse again and Jackie Harrison possibly and Sheila Reed. Will Harrison be the one to say, I've got to make it a long kick to try and stretch out Sheila Reed's speed?
Now, the athletes in this race who don't have the kick need to get up to the front of this group and start pushing the pace.
5 laps to go.
Julia continuing to lead over Higginson, Reed, Van Dalen, and Hasse.
That 400 meters in 77 seconds, so it's actually slowed just a little bit.
Most of the women in this race barely breathing at this pace. You got to wonder how much Hasse has coming back from that mile. She's certainly relaxed. Oregon has a comfortable lead. Certainly won't mind having some points from her, but not maybe dependent on it. There's Jackie Harrison moving up. Still in about 8.
4 to go and just about 7 minutes on the nose. There's a lapse time so far. Let's see what this last 800 meters turns into.
Senko.
There's Van Dalen.
Tall blonde from Wake Forest moving herself up as well. Van Dalen now assuming the lead. You can tell a lot of runners just pressing at the bit to go. Just 3 laps remaining in this women's 3,000 meters, and Jordan Hasse of Oregon now moving up into second place. Lucy Van Dalen of Stony Brook in the lead. She has the fastest time in the collegiate ranks this year. Higginson of Princeton is now back in third. Hasse in second. Sheila Reed also lurking back there. She's ran a great last leg on the DMR on Friday.
And the pace was very slow and not pedestrian, but slow. 5:06 for the first mile, and it kept up. Now things with 3 laps to go. The fire has been lit. Van Dalen is going to hammer this entire way. And can Hasse hold on and Reed? I think they can. 2 to go.
2 laps remaining, and Lucy Van Dalen clearly picking up the pace, maybe starting a long, slow kick as she picks it up more. Hasse going with her, as is with Reed. Lysenko has no answer. It's Higginson who's trying to get back into the fray. Harrison, we're still waiting for her to make the move, but she's well back in 7. It's Van Dalen and Hasse, and Sheila Reed right back up onto Hasse's shoulder the way she did in that anchor leg on the DMR on day 1.
Here comes Reed. 1 to go. They're getting the bell, and Hasse responds.
Hasse coming back from her mile championship a little while ago. It is now Hasse, followed by Reed. Van Dalen trying to hang on, and here we have a replay of that 1600-meter leg of the DMR. Hasse still looks to be up to the challenge, and she repels Reed's charge. Reed's got to regather herself. It's Hasse, the hunted. Sheila Reed, the hunter. Will it come out the same way as it did in the DMR? Here they come. Van Dalen on the inside. It's Hasse pumping all the way to the finish, and she's going to be a double champion. She wins the mile and come back and wins the 3,000.
Fantastic last lap for this tiny stick of dynamite from the University of Oregon. 61 seconds plus for the last 400 meters. Terrific stuff. She is reaching another level, Jordan Hasse.